One Piece, Chapter 3. Enter Zoro, Pirate Hunter.
Hello, brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I am Jim from Jim's Nerd Nation, and we'll be bringing you today a review on One Piece, Chapter 3. I first off want to say thank you, everyone, for kind of setting me straight. I had a number of people who watched me butcher Roronoa Zoro's name in the last video, and honestly did not realize that in English the translation is not pronounced with an L, that it's heavier on the R, so it is more like Zoro, which I can certainly remember because I am old and I remember Zorro from when I was a kid, and even the Antonio Banderas movies from 10, 12 years ago, and obviously the characters share similar traits as far as the masks that they wear, and being swordsmen and that sort of thing. So thank you very much, Nation. I have a son named Nathan. I don't know why I said that, but at any rate, thank you very much, everyone in the nation, for setting me straight on that. So, at the end of Chapter 2 and the beginning of Chapter 3, we are brought into, we were left with Luffy and Coby on a boat, and they were headed to the naval base town to talk to or free, or Luffy hasn't really decided yet. And the one thing I want to mention that's worth mentioning that I really enjoy about this character is that even against all odds, everybody laughs in his face when he says, "I'm going to be the king of pirates," or "I'm going to die trying." This truly is a person that, even though it's a fictional character, that we all want to aspire to be. I mean, has anybody ever had that thought, that dream, that you just can't get it out of your head until you do it, you know? And I respect him, you know. I honestly respect him for it, because, and he's got this arrogance about him almost, you know, and almost a chip on his shoulder. You know, it's great. It's also worth mentioning, I forgot to mention in my review of the first one, that he also, when he was trying to impress when he was younger, Captain Shanks, he actually stabbed himself in the face, cut himself, and has a scar now because of this. And I forgot, you know, to mention that. I also forgot to mention that it was pretty significant that after Shanks rescued him and set off, he gave him his hat, which Luffy still carries around with him and is one of his signature clothing items until this day. So there was some significance there, and I apologize, everyone, for forgetting, you know, about that. So it's the devil's in the details, anyway. But so at any rate, they get into naval base town, and Luffy and Coby are at a restaurant, and I found it really funny the way the panels, some of them are drawn, and the over exaggerations on the face and the expressions that come from people, because as soon as they're talking, and they're talking amongst themselves but aloud, and Luffy mentions you know, Zoro, and that they're looking to bust him out because they've heard that he's imprisoned there. You know, somebody freaks out and flips over a table, you know. And then when somebody else mentions Captain Morgan, which is which is the feared captain or the admiral that is in charge of the naval base, you know, somebody else flips over a table, and I just thought it was comical as they walk out of the restaurant. Luffy, who's just excited to be alive, man, you know. He's just like, "I really like that place. We got to go back there again. Those people were funny," you know. So at any rate, they wind up strolling on across town and getting over to the naval base, where the prisoners are kept. And apparently it's not a very good maximum security type of prison, because they pretty much just stroll up to it and look up over the wall. And they see in the yard, hung up on tied up to like a cross-like stake, just kind of hanging there. They see, and we're first introduced to Roronoa Zoro, which I'm assuming, from what everyone's been telling me, is going to be a mainstay and a long-time character in the series. And he's drawn very well. He has that kind of dark, foreboding figure and the mask and everything else. And anyway, while they're both discussing amongst themselves, Luffy and Coby, what they're going to do, if they're going to free him, you know, Coby thinks it's a crazy idea. This little girl just kind of comes up next to him and just tuttles over the wall and kind of walks up to him. And it was really sweet. She says, "You know, and I made you these rice balls. It's the first thing I've ever made. They're for you." And Zoro, the first things that we hear him say are, you know, "Get away. I don't want them. You know, leave me be." And at any rate, Then a few minutes later, after this goes on, you kind of think that, okay, he's living up to his badass reputation. So, at any rate, a few minutes later, the douchebag of all douchebags shows up. And anyway, I apologize to any female viewers. That's probably not the proper word to use, but this guy is a D-bag in every sense of the word. Captain Morgan's silver spoon-fed son, Helmepo, shows up, and I mean, this guy truly just looks like a moron. He has a bowl head haircut. I mean, seriously, he looks like somebody placed a bowl upside down on his head and then cut around, shaved around it. And at any rate, he comes up there and he's just very snooty, and comes up and exchanges some words with Zoro. And, basically says, hey, listen, if you've been here for 9 days or whatever, if you can last the month without food and water, just sitting out here and exposed to the elements, I'll let you go. That's a promise. Anyway, he winds up chastising the little girl. He takes a bite of her rice balls and spits them out, throws them to the ground, and says, what the hell, these are sweet, And the little girl is innocent. She says, it's my first time making them, and I like sugar more than I like salt, and so that's why I season them. And so he's just a real dick, He and I have kids, so I would never want to see anybody do anything like that. And again, I understand it's a fictional story, but there's still parallels to our own lives in these stories, and I think that's something that shouldn't be overlooked in this or any other story. So that's why writers do these things, to make you feel an emotion, that identifies with your life. So at any rate, I don't want to get too long-winded with the review here, but I do this anyway, so bear with me, everyone. I do appreciate you watching. So at any rate, he winds up having one of the guards go in and toss the little girl over the wall. Says, get her out of here, toss her over the wall. Luckily, our hero Luffy and Coby are on the other side of the wall, and they catch her. And anyway, this Helmepo, after he goes and disappears, he goes and leaves and has some rude words to say. Luffy climbs over the wall, and he starts talking to Zoro. And Zoro kind of, plays the badass thing again, and they exchange some words, and Luffy says, I'm going to be the king of the pirates. I'd like you to join my crew. Now, Zoro is a bounty hunter. He's somebody who goes in for money, hunts down pirates, master swordsman, and just, even though he's kind of a brigand, he finds that he won't lower himself to that level of scum, he says, to become a pirate. So Luffy goes and says, well, I haven't even decided whether I'm going to ask you to join my crew or not. So how about that for confidence, right? This is this world-renowned, feared in the whole town, and there's all these stories going around about him, he's a demon and everything else, and Luffy just shakes him off and says, listen, buddy, you're the one that's tied up here, and I'm still thinking about whether I'm going to ask you to join my crew or not. So anyway, Zoro winds up, and I thought it was kind of a touching moment. Zoro shows that he actually has a heart, and that a lot of what he does is probably just a facade to keep everybody thinking he's this dangerous, harmful person to be feared. He asks Luffy to go and pick up what's left of the rice balls that have been stomped on the ground, and feeds them to him, and it's kind of funny because he goes and he says, "Oh God," and Luffy says, "Yeah, I know. I told you they were more dirt than rice." And anyway, and Zoro says, make sure you tell her that I ate every last bit and that I really enjoyed them, So you can tell that he has a heart. You wind up finding out just a few panels later that he was actually imprisoned by Helmepo because this little prick has some dogs, I guess, that are real aggressive and violent, and they were chasing down or trying to hurt this little girl. And Zoro actually stepped in to stop that and was jailed for it. So obviously wrongfully jailed for it. But like I said, the silver spoon-fed prick kid, that's just how he is. So that's his character. So anyway, Luffy winds up going, and this is how the chapter wraps up, which I thought was really cool. Luffy winds up being down the street over there, and him and Coby are talking amongst themselves, and he overhears Captain Morgan's son talking about how get everything ready in 3 days or in a few days, we're going to execute Zoro. And Luffy, just being the big mouth type of person that he is, standing up for what's right. Remember what he did back in chapter 1, almost got himself killed, for the honor of a guy who didn't even like him at the time, Shanks. He opens up his mouth and says, "You bastard, you promised that you'd let him go and this and that." And, Helmepo says, "Oh, I can do what I want. I'm Captain Morgan's son, So, in a really nice panel to end the chapter 3, Luffy just lays his ass out, and he winds up, Helmepo gets up, and "You can't strike me, even my father doesn't strike me," and always hiding behind somebody else type of mentality, because Luffy says, hey, come on, man, bring it. Let's go toe-to-toe, you little prick. And he goes and runs off, and, while he's shouting over his shoulder, you'll be killed, you don't know who you're messing with. So all in all, I think it was a pretty cool chapter. I'm really excited, and if you couldn't tell, just, man, it, chomping at the bit to get into, each chapter and dive deeper into, this great, rich story. And like I said, I mean, just, knowing that there's, as of today, I think 714 or 715 chapters, man, I hope they can all be good, like the ones that I've read so far. So anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry I'm so long-winded again. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and comment. Subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and we will catch you in Chapter 4.
As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you dig that vibe, just please subscribe. Also, you can check out some of my other videos on the left and on the right. We'll see you in the next one.